this week's Dvar Malchus. It's Vayakil Moshe Tavshin Yud Beis. Siyata Shmaya Shabbos Parts Vayakil Bekudei Parts Chodesh Mevorchim Chodesh Nisan Tavshin Yud Beis. Vayakil Moshe is called as Bnei Yisrael, and Moshe Rabbeinu gathered all the congregation, all the Yidden Vayomer Aleim. And he told them, these are the things that Hashem commanded to do them. 6 days, work shall be done. And the seventh day it will be holy. A Shabbos of Shabbos to Hashem. It's known the questions on these psukim. First of all, why does he have to say that Moshe gathered all the Adas B'nai Yisrael and he told them, what's the Chiddush? Again, as soon as we see something in the Torah that's different than everywhere else, it's not the first time that Moshe Rabbeinu spoke to the Eden. It's not the last time. Here it says, Vayakil, Moshe gathered them. Seemingly, all it should have said is like it says in different times that Moshe spoke to the Eden. How you move him out, and from this has been self-understood that he gathered them together. Like it says in many times where Moshe Rabbeinu spoke to the Eden. So we know that when he spoke to the Eden, he gathered them together. Also concerning where it says where they were making the Mishkan, Moshe spoke said to all Das Yisrael. How do we know? And what did he do? Therefore, it's understood that he gathered them together. Why do you have to say that Moshe collected them and gathered them? So that's the first question. Why does he have to begin with the words Vayakil? Another question he asks, we need to understand, Mashakasav, Eila Hadbarim Mashaktiva Havaya Lasis Oisel. It says in the pasuk, these are the things that Hashem commanded you to do them. And the pasuk doesn't say that what are the things that was told. So again, every single time that Moshe Rabbeinu told the Yidden something, he obviously was going to tell them what he's about to say. The pasuk doesn't go ahead and say, this is the thing that Moshe Rabbeinu told you to do about kashrus, about mezuzah. This is just what Moshe Rabbeinu told you. And he goes on to say what he told you. And the fact that it says that some of Farshim explain that it's referring concerning what it's about to talk about. It's about to talk about the making of the Mishkan. So in the making of the Mishkan, it says, these are the things concerning what we're going to make the Mishkan that it's going to talk about. These are the things that Moshe Rabbeinu told him. So the Rebbe says, that answer is difficult. It's not understood. Line 15, concerning the donations of the Mishkan, concerning the work of the Mishkan, we find a unique and specific statement that he was specifically said to Vayomer Moshe. Moshe Kosev, Vayomer Moshe, El Kol Adas B'nai Yisrael, Zeh Davar Shetziva Vayomer L'chum Yitchem Terumah L'Hashem. It says openly in our parsha, it says that Moshe spoke to Adas B'nai Yisrael. This is the thing that Hashem commanded, saying. So if the pasuk is already later specifying about what Moshe is going to tell them about the donations of the Mishkan and the work of the Mishkan, so therefore when it says earlier, these are the things that Moshe Rabbeinu is telling you, it can't be talking about the same work. He's already going to say that Moshe Rabbeinu said. It's impossible to say that what it says before this. That when it says these are the things that Hashem commanded them to do them, it's referring to the idea of making the Mishkan. Therefore, We cannot say that when it says at the beginning of the parsha, Eila Dvarim, it's referring to the making of the Mishkan, because that already Moshe is going to say, again, the Torah is going to say that Moshe Rabbeinu is going to tell the Yidden, this is what Hashem commanded about making a Mishkan. Therefore, we need to go earlier in the parsha, closer to this psukim, and see what speaks about immediately afterwards. Therefore, we are forced to say that these things, etc., that it says in the beginning of the parsha, is referring to what it says immediately afterwards. It says 6 days work shall be done, and the 7th day it'll be Shabbos, Shabbos, and so on. So that was the Torah said, these are the things. Rebbe asks a different question now, line 21, it's not understood. The mitzvah of Shabbos, the command of Shabbos was already repeated many times beforehand, before Parts Vayakal. It's not anything new. These are the things that Moshe Rabbeinu commanded. We had it in the Aseret HaDibros, we had it between the Aseret HaDibros and now a few times. Being in a Shabbos with Parsha Zu, what was something new concerning Shabbos in this Parsha, Ad Kidei Kach, to such a degree? This Parsha's mitzvah of Shabbos is like something so totally new. That for this, because of there's something like totally and completely new in this parsha, that's why we're talking about Moshe Rabbeinu collecting all the Bnei Yisrael to tell them this thing. What is he going to tell them? He's going to tell them Shabbos, something that they haven't heard before. Obviously, there must be something new over here, that because of that, it needed this whole tumult, this whole preparation. Line 2 on page 12. Also, we have to understand the exact language of the pasuk, that it says 6 days work shall be done, and the word that's used is te'asa. Te'asa, it should be done, not you shall do. The word te'asa means like by itself, automatically, it will be done. Like it's brought down the Mechilt on the Pasuk, Bisman. How do you say that it's te'asa? What does it mean it will be done? As if you, the Yidden, are not doing it. Mechilt explains. When Yidden are doing and fulfilling the will of the Eibishter, so their work is being accomplished and done through others. According to this, comes out. Moshe, he kills Bnei Yisrael. When Moshe gathered all the Bnei Yisrael, hischil miyad ledaber imoyim oidos dargen nailus beyoyser b'avodos havaya. That immediately in that gathering, this was unique over here, over what we've learned in other cases where it spoke about Shabbos. He started speaking with them about a very high level in the avoid of the Eibishter, that they are doing and making the will of the Eibishter. And because they are making the will of the Eibishter, they are doing the will of the Eibishter, fulfilling the will of the Eibishter, whatever that level is, doesn't identify it yet. Therefore, we're talking about work that is not done by you directly, but it's nasai de acherim, it's done through others, it becomes done. So that's the uniqueness. We're asking what was the uniqueness over here in this parsha with Shabbos over everywhere else. The uniqueness is about how the Shabbos, how the level of the avodas Hashem was oiser nitzayne shoma. That's not the entire thing that's unique. We're going to go on to a few more ideas over here. Line 10, Gamtar Lav knows when you understand Mashakos. What it says in the 7th day. It will be for you holy, a Shabbos of Shabbos to Hashem. What is the double expression over here? The mashmashu inyan shel tosefes kedusha, that's indicating that it's an additional holiness. It's holy and not just Shabbos, but it's a Shabbos of Shabbos. All these expressions indicate that it's more than just a normal type of holiness, a regular, basic type of Shabbos. So when you understand, Akesh of Rashayk is the whole protein, the connection and the association of all the specific matters of this pasuk. In other words, even when we explain each thing by itself, how do they all connect? In Vayakel Moshe is one thing, the gathering of all these. These are the things that Hashem commanded you to do. And then in the mitzvah Shabbos, so even if we explain each one individually what their idea is, we need to see how they all connect to each other. Ice base line 17, page 4. That to be able to understand this, we have to first preface what it says. In the Rashi, so too it's brought down the Medrash in Zoyar. When did this occur? When the Moshe Rabbeinu gathered the Yidden to tell them about building the Mishkan. It says that the idea that Moshe Rabbeinu collected and gathered the Yidden. What occurred on the day after Yom Kippur, when Moshe descended from Har Sinai, meaning he got the Torah, the Parshas Yisro took place on the 6th or 7th and 7th. And then he went up to Har Sinai for 40 days, and then there was the Chet HaEgel, and he went up the second 40 days, and then the final 40 days, which concluded on Yom Kippur. And then afterwards, he had told the Yidden, this is what we're doing. Vayakel Moshe gathered them together, we're building a mission. Line 20, the Rebbe goes on to explain. Yom Kippurim, Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu Moshe Salach Dvarech. On Yom Kippur, the Eibishter told Moshe, I forgive you, like you spoke, like you asked, like you demanded of me. Chewing and Hakapar al Chet HaEgel, that's the idea of the atonement for the sin of the Egel. La'achar tfilosit shel Moshe b'meshach 120 yom, after the davening of Moshe for 120 days. Not sure why it says over here davening of 120 days. It should have been davening of 80 days. The kivan shaydei chet ha'egel chazers u'masam, since through the sin of the egel, their tumah returned. The idea of it's there was a tumah that came about from the Cheketz Adas. There was the dirt that came about because of the Cheketz Adas. That he says in line 25, initially the world was created perfect and complete. And afterwards, the Nachash came in contact with Chava, and he placed upon her the idea of filth and dirt and tumah. So in the Cheketz Adas, that's the idea of the sin of the Eitz Adas, and that stuck in the world. The Yisrael Sinai the Medrash says that when the Yidden stood at Har Sinai, their dirt left them. The tumah that came about from the Cheketz Adas stopped. And by the sin of the Egel, it returned this dirt and this shmutz and this tumah. The day after Yom Kippur, the Yidden had to remove this dirt. And they had to now return to the state and situation that they were at before the sin of the Egel, when they didn't have any Zuama, like at the beginning of creation, top of page Zayin, the world was created complete and perfect. That's where it says that Moshe collected and gathered the entire congregation of the Bnei Yisrael. And he told them, these are the things that Hashem commanded them to do. What was the things? As we asked initially, what is the Eila Dvarim? He was telling them, how do we deal now with this Zuham? How do we deal now with completely eradicating any effect of the Chet HaEgel? That's what's hinted in this phrase. What's hinted in that is the order of the avodah in repairing the sin and fixing up the sin of the Eitz Hadas. And the sin of the Eitz Hadas, sin of the Egel. Moshe told them various things in the order of how to repair what happened now by the Cheta Egel. But the primary detail that matters to us, that the Torah records explicitly, what it says in the pasuk that 6 days work shall be done, it shall be done automatically. That message that the work is done in a way of automatically, that is the way how the Cheta Egel is going to be repaired. Any questions before we go on? Okay, we're holding us Gimel, page Zion, line 8. So now the Rebbe is going to explain what's the connection. What does it mean that through the work being done in a way of Tiyasa, automatically, how is that going to fix up the problem with the Cheta? Be it an Indian explanation of this matter is in Iksiv, it says in the pasuk, the toil of your palms, the toil of your hands. When you will eat it, you are fortunate and it is good for you. Pirshur Azal the Mishnah, the Chazal, the Mishnah explain. Why does it say a double expression? You are fortunate and it is good for you. So the Chazal explained that the double lashon comes to teach you you are fortunate in this world. It's good for you in the world to come. So the question is, why would my work over here in this world, working and toiling with my hands, have any impact, especially on the world to come? What are we talking about over here? It's like saying, if you eat, you'll be fortunate and you'll have, Olam Haba. What does my work have to do with the world to come? He says, this means, so they should be able to be fortunate for you in this world. It should be good for you in the world to come. So has to be the way how you act, in the way of the toil of your palms specifically. At the toil with the business, should be only with one's hands, with one's palms, and not with the head and the heart. That the brain and the heart of a person has to be in the 4 cubits of Torah, the 4 cubits of davening and mitzvahs, fulfilling a mitzvahs. And the toil in the business should be only with the palms. As opposed to his brain and his heart are not preoccupied with it. That's the inner meaning of Teyos. In addition to what we spoke about before, that malachtam nasai de'achedim, the Teyasa means that it's done automatically, meaning he's not preoccupied in the work that he's doing. It's as if the work is being done automatically, as if it's happening by itself, because he's not there. His mind and heart is somewhere else. Why is that so? Why is our approach to our work has to be in such type of way where it's only our hands and our head and our heart has to be removed from it? It has to be done as if it's being done by itself. He says, in truth, a person should not have been involved at all in worldly matters. Because the entire earth and everything that fills it is Hashem. The entire earth is filled with His glory. The heavens and the earth. Says specifically, I, Hashem Himself, is here. The Koyal Atzmusi is Baruch is referring to Hashem's essence. When a person's involved in matters of the world, it's like someone that is making a sign in the air. He's making like a circle in the air in front of the king. That brought down Gemara. That when you're standing in front of the king, even making a signal, even just a sign with your finger, you're making a circle in the air. That's already considered liable for chas v'shalom, a death penalty. So therefore, since we're in the presence of the Eibishter, how dare we do anything that is not godly? We're standing in front of the king. It's disrespectful to the king. Ella, but the reason why we are able to do so, the reason why we are allowed to work during the 6 days of the week, Ella Shatoida nos not the shoes, but the Toida gave permission, and not only gave permission, top of page Ches. Begam Tziv so lasik binyan so Toida itself commanded to be involved and engaged in matters of making a living. Commercial costs, like it says in the pasuk Sheshes Yom Tavit, 6 days you shall work. Vasisa kom lachtecha, you should do all your work. So the Chazal say it could have just said in a simple way. It could have just said the 7th day you should rest. Why does it have to say beforehand 6 days you shall work and you shall do all you should do all your work? So the Chazal derived from that zu mitzvahs aseh. It's not just that there's a mitzvah to rest on Shabbos, but there's a mitzvah aseh to work during the 6 days of the week. And that is why we are allowed to work, even though it's seemingly disrespectful in the presence of the king to do anything personal. It says another pasuk, Hashem will bench you in all that you do. So in other words, so it's incumbent upon us, Torah tells us that we have to do, and we have to work. So, but that is all about the permission to work and how is it allowed for us to work. But there's the manner in which we work. When we call up and still in all line 4. It has to be only in the manner of the toil of your palms. That brain and his heart are not preoccupied with it. Like Saskus but rather his involvement and engagement with the work is only with his power of action. And even the power of action, he doesn't overdo it. And how much does he work? Even that which he's working with his palms, he only does as much as necessary, so it should be enough of a vessel for the brach of the Eibush. So he's got to estimate, like some tzedek explains in Mamorim, what and how much money do I need? And based on that, what type of work and how much work will bring in that type of money. And that's what I do, as much as it's necessary to be able to be a keli for the brach of the Eibush. You say to him, and even more so, once he has attained the money, once he has earned the money, that he uses this for the service of Hashem, or maybe even he means that the work itself he uses in the service of Hashem, not just in the money that he gains. How does he use the work itself in the service of Hashem? Which also, like it says, in all your ways you shall know him. Meaning, so even when you're at work, you know the Eibishter, you're aware of the Eibishter, and you're trying to see the opportunities in work for serving the Eibishter. The Rebbe has given us very practical ways that when we engage with people in all of our involvements, including when we meet people at work, we should use it as an opportunity to tell them about mitzvahs if they're Yidden, if they're Lahapul Goyim, tell them about Shem Noach, and so on. So he says, now he says a very interesting point. We're saying Yigia Kapecha Kisaycha. It doesn't say Maise Kapecha. It doesn't use a different expression. It says Yigia. Why do we use the term Yigia? It says, line 10, Vafel became still a null. It's still called toil. Why is it called toil? The reason for this is why it's called toil and not some other expression. Because in truth, the way it should be is that if not for the fact that Hashem told me that I have to go make a living, so I would want to, and my true will and desire should be only in matters of Torah mitzvahs. And the involvement in making a living should only be something that I feel that I do so because I'm obligated to, as if I'm being coerced. Behind this means that, you could think, it's a mitzvah in the Torah to go to work. So I'm going to do it with my full chayes and gishmak, and this is put on a gartel and go to mikveh before I go to work. And no, they're never saying not. The way the Eibishter wants us to do the work is to feel that this is not who we really are, and this is not what I should want. Behind this means the Afal shall turn not Nasna Rishus. Vachiyesh mitzvah with civil Torah, though Torah gave us permission. And to such a degree that there's a mitzvah and a command to be involved in Parnasa, Kol Makom still and all, Eine Chafetz Ba'aseh. He does not desire the Aseh. In Chassidus, it always makes a difference between the word Rotzen and Chayfetz. Rotzen means an external will that could be motivated by something else. I don't want the thing, I just want the outcome of the thing. So it's called Chitzonius HaRotzen in terminology of Chassidus. Chayfetz means the inner desire and enjoyment. So he's saying like this, he does not desire, he does not have a chayfetz in the business. Though he's using the business for the service of the Eibush, and he does this only because he is obligated to. Therefore, what's the result of that? If a person goes to work without desire, he's just doing it because he needs to. Therefore, he calculates how much time does he have to be involved in this. And only in those hours that it's necessary, he's involved in the business. And even then, when he's doing the business, he's waiting, he's looking at the clock. So that the time that's set aside for going to work will be finished. But he's watching the clock to see when can I go back finally to learning? When can I go back to davening? So now this is going to connect with the term Yigia. How do we know this has to be the attitude of a Yid? From the word Yigia Kapecha. Since he doesn't desire in matters of the business, that's not where his inner will is in. Therefore, it's called toil, because it's a burden for him. It's something he's uninterested in. So the Rebbe concludes, comes out from this, that there's two extremes to this. On the one hand, the business is in such a way of the toil of your palms only, meaning it's only the hands. He doesn't invest in it, and he doesn't embed in it his brain and his heart. Only the power of action alone, as much as it's necessary to invest the power of action, no more than what's necessary. But his will and his brain and his heart are not invested in the business. To such a degree, top of page excuse me, that the business is in such a way, the work is in such a way that it is being done, not you shall do it, as if it's happening by itself automatically. On the other hand, we're calling it toil. It's happening automatically, it's happening by itself. Why do we call it toil? It's like happening. It's not doing anything. Still and all, it's called toil. Though he only invests in it, this power of action, and his brain and his heart are free. Like we said, he only invests the power of action to how much is necessary. In such a way that's considered like by itself. Still and all. Since he does not desire it, he's not invested in it, he's not interested in it. Also being involved just with the power of action is called toil. It's called something that's an effort and a labor for him. It's something that he's not interested in, so it's something that's called toil. Any questions?